Now, dating doesn't mean sleeping with other people. We're not saying that at
No.
all. But dating, we call it test driving, right? It's when you want to buy a car, it's like you're going to spend a lot of money. So I got to make sure that this is the right car. So you know what? I'm going to go test drive a Lexus. And I'm going to go test drive a BMW. Maybe I'll test drive a Toyota. And I got to find the one that's right for me, right? It's not like, well, you know what? This car is everything. It's exactly what I'm looking for. And then you buy it, and then 3 weeks later, I hate this car. Like,
I love that.
so you have to understand how to do online dating. And again, everybody's different, but we espouse dating multiple people, screening multiple people, going out on dates.
Hi, and welcome to Beyond Empty Nest. I'm your host, Jody Silverman, speaker, mentor, and Chief Dare Officer at Moms Who Dare. Every Thursday, I'll share stories of midlife transformation, happiness tips, and dare you to see the opportunities waiting for you so that you can make this next chapter even better than the last. If you're ready to dare, I'm ready to dare with you. Let's get into today's episode. Do you find yourself single in midlife? Does online dating make you feel as if you would like to stay single for the rest of your life? Well, you're not alone there. Navigating being single today can feel overwhelming and, quite frankly, scary. But today you're in luck because my guests, an amazing couple known as the Love Mentors, are here, and they have dedicated their lives to help single women in midlife find love. And they're here today to share the good, the bad, and the honest truth about online dating. I am so excited to introduce you all to my friends, Joe and Nat. Welcome to Beyond Empty Nest, guys.
Hey, Jody, it
Hi,
is so
Jody.
exciting to be spending time with you again today. We're old friends, and we're looking forward to this because I know this is a topic. It's, for a lot of people, it's like, oh, online dating, please.
I'm so excited.
I know. And yes, we are old friends because, fun fact, everybody, Joe and Nat have their own podcast, and you can go check. You're going to want to check out their podcast in the show notes below. We have the links, how you can find them. They have great guests. They share amazing content. So if you love Beyond Empty Nest, you're going to love their podcast as well. But before we dive into the whole good, bad, the honest truth about online dating, you have to share your story with our audience because they need to know why you're the Love Mentors.
Right. So I'll let the wife go because I'm a smart married man. So we defer to the wife, So go ahead, wifey.
Well, it's an interesting story because we actually met online.
So we're proof it
We
does
are
work.
proof that it works. And it was something that I was not open to at first. I actually, it was a friend of mine that I worked with. She's like, come on, do it, just do it, just do it. And I'm like, I don't know. That's just for desperate people.
Right?
She's like, no, do it. And then I did it. And look what happened.
And, I was at that stage in my life where I had come off a broken engagement and I wasn't the club guy. Those days were over and, all my friends and family members were married or engaged. So there weren't a lot of places to go. And, how the universe works. I actually had a woman that I was dating completely blow me off. And I got so pissed off. And this was like in, the beginning stages of the internet, and there wasn't even Google. And I went home to my computer and like, what the hell's wrong with women? Like I just typed something in.
Well, that's
like I don't know exactly what it was. And then somehow I found Match.com, and I started like playing around with it, and it was like a free trial back then, and I wrote a profile, and literally by the end of that night, I was having a conversation with a woman. I'm like, this is great. Like, I don't have to go out. I don't have to play games. I can just search my computer and find women to date. Like, sign me up. And that just began the beginning of my online dating journey. And, one of the things I hope we get into today is there's a right and wrong way to do it. And most people just don't understand how to do it correctly. And that's why most people struggle.
Well, that's why we invited the Love Mentors on because everybody, you needed to hear this. I'm going to invite you right now. just for this next, like whatever, 20, 30 minutes that we have together, just any preconceived notion, any past experiences that you've had with online dating, let's just throw them out for now and start right here, right now with Joe and Nat, because they are proof positive that it can happen, that you can find love in midlife through online dating. It doesn't have to be icky. It doesn't have to be scary. And all joking aside, you don't have to stay single the rest of your life because it sounds icky to you. You don't. So, and I was not one to speak to this because, I'm married. So be like, well, that's easy for you to say. Well, no, all of this is going, all the excuses. So forget about it, starting here. And then before we really do dive into the right and wrongs, you just kind of share your background. I find it fascinating, your backgrounds. And what led you, and more specifically Joe's background, because I could take Natalie's degrees and her background and see how you can translate that into being a love mentor. Joe, you got to tell everybody what you're retired from.
Well, you said this is about a half-hour show, so
Okay, so short
that'll take
version.
about
The
3 hours.
Cliff
So I'll
Notes
give you the Cliff Notes version.
Yeah.
Long story short, I was a chiropractor, and in my chiropractic practice, I just felt unfulfilled. There were many reasons: healthcare. Really, in working with individuals, I found that a lot of their physical problems was the result of unmanifested emotional stress in their life, and so I can give them the greatest adjustment. But if they're in a crappy marriage, or they hated their job, or they were just in a bad place because they haven't done any work on themselves, it was like I used to call it chiropractic aspirin. So I just felt really unfulfilled, like I should be doing more. Long story short, went on this journey and ultimately spent the week with Jack Canfield out in
Arizona.
Scottsdale, and ultimately realized that I had a bigger purpose to help more people. That began another journey of, okay, what do I do? And one day in my journaling, it was revealed to me, because I do this journaling. It's kind of like the book Conversations with God. It's literally a conversation with my higher self. I don't know who it is, but it's not me. And in that journaling, it was revealed you need to help others find love. And I'm a Jersey guy, and I'm like, well, what the hell do I know about that? And it's like, look at your life, look at what you've been through, your broken engagement, putting everything in the relationship not ending, and then ultimately finding the partnership that you really wanted.
Yeah.
And so you're going to be, tell people how to do that. But more importantly, you're going to be like the poster child for the emotionally available men who have no problem, kind of like your husband, who are 100% committed, have no problem with monogamy, who are faithful, who understand and value their partner. So I'm not special, I'm not unique, but I was just going to be the voice of the guys who are saying, look, you know what? We have no problem committing to a woman when it's the right woman. And this
Right.
is what we're looking for. And this is what we need from a partner.
I love that. I love that. And Natalie, you have degrees in both psychology and counseling, right?
Yes.
She
So-
needed to marry me.
Yeah, but I was going to say, and that I mean, I like how you say it. It says it allows you to genuinely connect with those that you serve, and so I understand that background. So I love that. Is there anything that you want to share about your background before we dive into the nitty gritty of this?
No, I just feel that, as a woman, it's easy to empathize. And when I was single, I know how I felt. I know what it was like dating, and I wasn't in my 20s anymore. I wasn't like a young, spring chicken.
She wasn't clubbing, is what she was
I
saying.
wasn't doing all that, so it's getting harder to meet somebody. So I know how it felt. I was there. I was in their shoes.
Right.
So I think just having that empathy, and then with Joe and I together, coming from both perspectives, male and female, I think that's a big help and an integral part of learning this whole dating thing.
Yeah, and as you know, Jody, we're big into energy.
Mhm.
We talk,
Yes.
like, so masculine, feminine energy, quantum physics, the universe, all of that. It's really taking that approach and understanding that the truth is that as human beings, we get in our own way. And most
Oh,
of the
yeah.
times we don't even realize it. And so if we believe, if you have a desire in your heart, you're meant to experience it, but you didn't get a roadmap and an instruction manual. So you're probably doing the best you can, but what you're doing probably isn't working. And that's where you have to go within and find out, okay, how do I make those internal and external changes so I can manifest the love that I was created to have?
All right, fair enough. So, okay, you opened the door to that. So, I absolutely 100 agree. We get in our own way every turn, even us coaches, because it's so much easier to coach somebody else than it is to see where your roadblocks are. So, you make a very bold statement when we were talking before about like you say you want to share why online dating is the best way to manifest love in midlife. That's a bold statement. the best way to manifest love in midlife. So we're here to talk about the good, the bad, and the honest truth about online dating. Why online dating?
Well, as I said earlier, is like you literally can be in the comfort of your own home. You can be on a beach, you can be on a plane, you could be anywhere
Okay.
you have connection to the internet, and you can meet the potential love of your life.
Love that.
Now, that being said, there's a lot more that goes into the equation. So, where most people don't like online dating is because they don't understand the process of how to do it correctly. And
Okay.
very often because they let their emotions and their past experiences
Hmm.
dictate their beliefs and what they experience. But the truth is, it's simply a forum to meet a potential partner, no different than a bar, a club, a matchmaker, or anything else. But because you have the luxury of doing that anywhere in the world at any time,
That's
it's
a,
what I believe is the best. And also, it gives you the opportunity to, and this is where a lot of individuals go wrong, is they don't screen enough.
Right.
They don't spend enough time really figuring out, is this the type of man that I'm looking to be in a relationship with? It's, very often it's like, oh, you're single, I'm single. Oh, you checked your box, you want a relationship. Oh, you like the same music, let's go out. Well, that doesn't mean he's going to be your perfect partner and vice versa. So there's a lot of work that needs to go in to picking and choosing the right partner and screening potential partners effectively.
Yeah. And I think it's really getting to know somebody. And I think the problem with online dating and dating in general today is the texting thing. When Joe and I first met, on Match.com, he asked for my phone number. Well, there was no texting then, in all transparency, but he called me and we spoke on the phone for 3 hours that night. So we really got to know each other right from the get-go. And I think one of the problems today is with online dating is people just rely on texting, and you really can't get to know somebody and really hear their voice and hear their truth and understand and learn who they are that way. And I
Yeah.
think that's, one of the speed bumps.
Yeah. And that opens up several layers with that,
Hmm.
because I think it's just indicative of the world that we
Yeah.
live in today. We want the quick fix, instant gratification. I want to send you a text, and if I don't get a text back in 30 seconds,
right.
you know
Oh
what?
God.
You're not interested, and
Yeah.
and I'm not good enough, or when our mind and our ego just goes down this rabbit hole,
Yes.
and that's a big part of the problem.
Yeah.
Instead of understanding that, and we tell our clients all the time is that when a man is genuinely interested in a woman and getting to know a woman, that guy doesn't want to waste time.
Right.
Like, he's got a life, he's got kids, he's got stuff going on. He doesn't want to waste 3 years texting you back and forth before he wants to go on a date, because he wants to figure out relatively quickly, are you the type of woman that I'm looking for? And am I the type of guy you're looking for? And if we are, let's go forward and let's get to know each other. But if not, let's not waste our time.
And
So,
we're talking here midlife people. We're talking
yeah.
about midlife, grown-ups here. We're talking about 45 and up. So wait, so
Yeah, it's the same.
Ideally, we're talking about grown-ups,
Yeah.
well,
but,
ideally, right.
right, we're,
That's
we're
a
talking
whole nother
We're,
podcast
we're
right
getting
there.
into emotional maturity, emotional health. That's
So,
opening up a can of worms for another day.
all right, so I want to continue down this path of the mistakes. And
Mhm.
I love it. And literally you had perspective in there, you had the mistakes we make, and you also have the expectations. And I love how you shared that. And I can understand. Listen, this is judgment free. We're talking about things that are just normal that we do as human beings. I love how you said that if you don't get the immediate response you need right away, allow ourselves to just tell ourselves such stories and make assumptions. And I just did a live about this on social media. Not everybody, even if they're connecting, think for a minute. You're online. This guy's online. You send a message. He responds. You send a message. Nothing. You don't know what happened on the other end, right? He could have gotten a business call in the middle of it. He maybe should have never even been communicating the way he was. So let's go. But I love how you share that. Like, stop with the stories. So we're going to jump ahead. So I need you to navigate this for me. So do you want to talk about, like, what are the top 3 biggest mistakes or misconceptions? And then what are the do's and how to how do you manage the stories so that you
Right.
can have healthy? And I also, I'm going to throw this because I'm going to let you guys talk it. I love what you said. There's a time for texting in the beginning, and then you got to take it for real, either on the phone or even Zoom now, right?
Right.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We have a lot of clients who actually met during the pandemic via Zoom because they couldn't go on dates.
Yeah.
And
So
because they were generally interested in finding a partner. So, I believe when you are the partner that you need to be and you are taking the steps, you were daring, you were putting yourself out there in a way and doing it intelligently, that's when the universe fills in the details. But it's a matter of being that partner. And, as we're talking about, the biggest mistakes is number one is most people think online dating is like, I'm going to join a site, I'm going to put up a profile, put up a picture, and I'm going to sit and find the love of my life. And I'm like, that's like joining a gym and expecting to getting in shape. That's not how it works.
Yeah.
That just becomes the playground where now you have the potential to meet, but now you have to write a profile. Now you have to stand out from all the other women. Now you have to engage guys. You have to have a conversation. You have to get that guy interested in you, not by manipulating him, not by playing games or, following the rules that others are
Yeah.
espousing, but just by being your authentic self. When I
Be
met
you.
Natalie, you know, and this is a big problem we'll get into, people say, I don't want to date multiple people. That's not what we espouse. Now, dating doesn't mean sleeping with other people. We're not saying that at
No.
all. But dating, we call it test driving, right? It's when you want to buy a car, it's like you're going to spend a lot of money. So I got to make sure that this is the right car. So you know what? I'm going to go test drive a Lexus. And I'm going to go test drive a BMW. Maybe I'll test drive a Toyota. And I got to find the one that's right for me, right? It's not like, well, you know what? This car is everything. It's exactly what I'm looking for. And then you buy it, and then 3 weeks later, I hate this car. Like
What was that?
that's not how you do. So you have to understand how to do online dating, and it's not. You have to. Again, everybody's different, but we espouse dating multiple people, screening multiple people, going out on dates. Is this the guy I can see myself with? Because just so you have a conversation and everything's great and he sounds amazing, doesn't mean he's going to be the right partner.
Right.
Well, it's you can use all the metaphor you said, right? The test driving the car. You have to, keep throwing the fishing rod back in and pulling out the fish to get the right fish. I mean, it's the same. So my hearing is that it's not enough just to create a profile. That's scary. And that's scary enough. And yay, if you've done it, but you have to take action, right? Willing to take action. But you also said something I think is key. Be you. Be you. You're going to have a lot. How many times I'm curious if any of your friends did, if you even told them that you were online dating, but so many people like to offer you should do this. You should do this. Don't do this because this is what the men do. This is what the women do. I would say just be you. And you said that. And I want to say it again and again, be you, because the right person out there is looking for you, not who you think they're looking for.
And that really comes down to being secure in who
Yeah.
you are. A lot of
Yes.
people are like, well, I'm afraid if he dates other women because then he's not going to want to, date me. I'm like,
That's
well,
a
if you're the
gift.
right woman, once he sees that, he's not going to want to date other people. I was dating multiple people because I was looking for the right one. I wanted to make sure, because of my broken engagement, the next time I asked another woman to marry me, that she was going to be the right woman and that she was going to be by my side for the rest of our journey. So I wanted to make sure. And so you have to be able to do that. And you have to be able to ask questions. And, Natalie knew I was dating other people.
I actually called him and he was on a date. I
Wait a minute, you
got the
answered
beeper
the
then.
phone on a date? I don't even want to go there.
Well, because I knew that,
It was the beeper. He had the
right,
beeper then.
right. Yes. That was the days in the pager. So she
So-
paid me. I was at dinner and I'm like, excuse me. And I wanted to give her the courtesy of calling her back. I wasn't rude, but I knew that, she could be the type of woman. I was getting to know these different women, looking for the right one. And so the more I got to know her, the more I realized, I always, I remember this day, I'm going to put all my eggs in the Natalie basket because she appears to be the woman I'm looking for.
Yeah, and I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, I want to hear from Matt. Matt, were you dating multiple people at the same time?
When I specifically met Joe, no, but I had dated a bunch of different people we met like in September. So it was like over the summer I was dating different people. But when I met him, there was nobody else at that time I was interested in.
Okay. All right.
Now I know there are going to be some people say, well, I refuse to date multiple people. that's fine. If that's your truth and that's authentic for you, then do that. Just realize that's a big mistake most people make because they'll put all this energy into this guy and
If it doesn't work out.
right, and then they waste a lot more time than they should ultimately to find out, you know what, he's not the right one. Where if you're dating multiple people, then you get to see that, you know what, this guy's nice, but you know what, this guy's much more of what I'm looking for.
Right. I get that. I totally get it. I think, and like that. So that sounds to me like that's one of the myths of online dating, that, one at a time, but multiple at a time. Like, yeah, you have to test drive. I love that. I love that advice. And I also love that, you said my step grandmother used to say, never be sorry for no. So for this, for the men and the ladies out there. But if a man doesn't want to continue dating you, yes, do we all have egos? Of course, my feelings would be hurt.
Sure.
It's a gift. There's a reason. If you
Absolutely.
trust, like Joe, Nat, and I believe in the higher power in the universe, puts people in your path for a reason. They take people away for a reason. If somebody says no to you, never be sorry for no. Look for the next person. It's a hard thing. It's a hard thing, especially if you're putting yourself out there. Because going on a dating app and putting yourself out there is a very vulnerable act. It's a very vulnerable act. And I think what Joe said is important. I do believe, I don't know if you believe or not. I'm not saying use this as a reason to delay doing it, but really get comfortable and confident in yourself. Know how great you are. Know what your gifts are. Know what your value system is. Know what matters deeply to you. Like, is loyalty, is honesty, is fun, is humor, is get really clear so that when you are out there dating, that you're able to be okay if this didn't work out and be able to say no, thank you to this one.
And there's nothing wrong, as you say, being human. It's like, hey, you know what? That's a little disappointing. I'm upset. But it's learning to then get to the truth and say that, you know what? This didn't happen to me. It happened for me. And this isn't the right, if he's not interested, he doesn't want to be with me, then he's not the right guy. But very often as we go down this path, it will bring other stuff to the surface that we need to either heal or we need to work on to become that partner we need to be. Because what I believe is that a lot of people go on online dating thinking they're going to find that person. And, like the old Jerry Maguire movie, you complete me.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then they get somebody and they go, well, why don't I feel completed? Because they haven't done the internal work
Yeah.
to be the partner. And that's why they're not manifesting and attracting the relationship. Look, it's kind of like, God, universe, whatever you believe goes, okay, I know you want that great relationship, but you're not where you need to be vibrationally, energetically.
Yeah.
So I'm going to give you the guys to bring that to the surface. And if you're conscious, you'll see that and do your work. If you're not, you'll just keep the pattern going, the
Yeah.
cycle. I call it the online dating caurel. It
Yeah.
just keeps going round and round and not going anywhere.
Yeah. Well, it's true. It's true.
And then they go, well, say an online dating doesn't work. There's no good men out there. And it's just not true.
I mean, I got to tell you, I'm sitting here thinking that we're going to have to do like another tactical, like a real tactical episode for people, or bring you into the Facebook group to like really answer personal questions for people. But for now, because you're sharing so much good stuff, good information, because so much goes into it. It's not just about the other person, it's about you too, is what I hear you saying.
Oh,
But
absolutely.
I want to hit these 2 points. You talk about how that seeing and noticing red flags are easy, but there's yellow flags that you have to be able to notice and navigate yellow flags. Can you just give us like 1 or 2 examples of what a yellow flag might be?
You want to take that? Or you want me?
Yeah, I think that again, red flags are easy to notice. The yellow flags are the thing that maybe he didn't call you back right away. Maybe he didn't ask you out again for another week. Maybe, those things that kind of make you wonder, is he interested or is he not? So it's kind of like you want to navigate those gently because, he could have had something really important come up. You don't know. He might end up calling you a week later and say, listen, I'm really sorry this happened. And then fine, continue. But if you never hear from him for a week or 2 or 3, and then he calls you and is like, oh, you want to go out again? It's like, well, we were supposed to go out a week ago. So it's those things that are very kind of subtle and that kind of make you wonder, well, is he interested or is he not? So
Right.
they're a little trickier.
Nat, you're talking about that woman's gut intuition And maybe the first time you're like, okay, oh, he did call me back. It might have been 2 weeks later. We are grown women here. We know that if somebody's interested, they, in all reality, the expectation is they will either call you within a day or two to ask about the next time, or even set a date at the date for the next date. Yeah. So, so if it happens again, that's trusting your intuition. Like, make note of these little things.
Right. You're absolutely right. And intuition is getting in alignment with your higher truth, your higher self, the part of you that knows the deal.
Yeah.
And so when you see those yellow flags, it's like, okay, is this something I need to be concerned about?
Right.
Is this a deal breaker? Is this a sign that there's something else that I need to
Right.
explore?
Right.
So as Nat was saying, if a man says, okay, I'll call you on Thursday, okay, and we'll make plans for the weekend, and then you don't hear from him Thursday, you hear from the next week, well, that's a yellow flag. Okay.
Right.
Now, this is where people are, well, he didn't call me, so it's over. Well, as you said earlier, this guy may have had a family emergency. He may
Oh,
have had
no.
a work thing. You're not dating, you're not in a relationship. You met one time. And so he really doesn't owe you anything yet. Now, yeah, if he's a high quality guy,
Well, yeah, but that's a
nope.
yellow flag. That's
Right,
like saying, okay, I'm taking note of this, but
right,
I liked him. He did call me. He offered
right,
me an explanation. We're going to do it again. If it happens again,
right.
it might be a pattern. I
Right.
got
If
it.
that guy comes back and then cleans it up and said, hey, look,
Right.
I said I was going to call you Thursday, but you know what? Life got in the way, stuff happens, I acknowledge that. That's cool. If the guy comes back and go, well, I was busy. And then he does the same thing the next week. Well, that yellow flag is now a red flag.
Right.
So that's where you have to discern, okay, is this something I really need to
Yep.
be concerned about?
Right.
I need more information. I don't have enough information yet.
Right.
And not make it a red flag before it is.
I
Because
got
that's
you.
where you can
I like that.
err on the side of making a mistake the other way.
It's listening to your gut and your intuition, being in touch with it, but not reacting in a way that completely cuts somebody off that could be good. A benefit. There's always good to give the benefit of the doubt every now and then, but you have to do it within your value system. Love it. Got it. And then when it turns to a red flag, say bye-bye and don't look back. Okay.
Well,
Absolutely.
there's this whole saying, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
Right.
Yep. Yep. True. Very good.
Mhm.
Good quote pull out there. All right. I don't care that we're going over time. I want to talk about, and we'll try and keep this short. We'll leave you wanting more, and you'll have to go seek out Joe and Nat, your love mentors, on your own here. And again, below in the show notes, every which way you can reach out to them, and they will be coming back. I promise you. But you talk about how to put yourself out there to attract the right guy for the right reasons. Is there a short suggestion or a tip on this one?
Again, because we're going in stuff that's much deeper. So ultimately, it comes
Well,
down
just
to
surface. It's okay. They
right.
want to
Yeah,
dive
yeah.
deep. You're going
It's
to come back.
being your authentic self and understanding why you are looking for a relationship.
I
If
like
you're looking for a relationship to make you happy, you're entering into the forum for the wrong reason. If that's the old "you complete me." And here's how I sum it up: it's like a cake. You have to be a great cake on your own. The relationship is the icing. It takes you to another experience.
Yeah.
But if you're looking, I would say if it's dog food and you put icing on top of dog food, it's still going to taste like crap.
dog food. Oh, I love your analogies.
But so you have to go in knowing, what, I'm a freaking awesome cake.
Yeah.
And I'm okay if I don't find that guy, but I really want that special guy to share my life with, just to take the experience of that cake to a different level.
Right. And you also don't want to, you want to put yourself out there as yourself, being authentic. You don't want to put yourself out there in a way that, this is what I think a
You're
man might
right.
want. This is what I think he's looking for. No, you just be yourself.
Yeah, I love
The
it.
right guy is going to want you
Right.
for who you are.
Yep. Keep saying that because you got to keep hitting that home with some of the women out here. Own it. And they understand the whole happy outside of this. I talk a lot about being happy is an inside job. And I love perfect analogy with the cake and then have the icing. I love it. It should be complimentary. You should have moments of joy, and it shouldn't be difficult. It doesn't need to be difficult. All right. I love this. You say, I'm going to have to summarize this really well for everyone.
Okay.
All right. As always, we have a few things. We have a resource that Joe and Nat are giving you.
Yes. It's a guide. It's called The 3 Secrets to Creating an Online Profile that Attracts an Emotionally Available Man.
And because again, starting with, if you want to attract the type of guy you're looking for, you have to create a profile that speaks to that guy. And what most people do is they write a profile that sounds like everybody else. And so unless you have great, amazing pictures, most guys are going to go,
Yeah.
it's boring. Sounds like everybody else. But if you write a profile, when I read Natalie's profile, I'm like, oh, this appears to be the kind of woman I'm looking for. I want to know more.
Yeah.
So there's an art and a science to actually writing. It's basically like advertising and marketing.
Yeah.
When marketers, advertising agents create marketing,
Yeah.
they do it because they're trying to attract certain people. Well, that's when you write your profile, you're doing it in that way, but you're doing it authentically and genuinely.
Right.
You're not
And this-
lying. You're not misleading people, saying things that aren't authentic and genuine. You're like creating an advertisement for you.
So, and that's what this resource will get them started doing. The 3 secrets of
absolutely.
creating that profile. Awesome. I love how you say that attracts an emotionally available man. The words you have chosen are very intentional. I love that. All right. Now the fun part. If all of this wasn't fun enough, the dare. The dare. Joe and Nat have a dare for no matter where you are in the online dating world process, not started yet, or you're there and you've been doing it. There's a dare for you. So would you like to share each part of the dare?
Yeah. Now, first of all, before I want to acknowledge you and your message of dare because it's so important, not just in dating, but in living life,
Oh,
because it's getting outside of that comfort zone and taking that leap of faith. But
Yep.
what we always say is doing it in a way that's smart and aligned with what you are.
Yep.
There's reckless courage and necessary courage. And so you want to do it in a way where that courage is necessary to take you closer to where you want to go. So I absolutely just want to acknowledge you for that because it's 100% on point. So
thank
right,
you.
wifey, show our dares.
All right, go
Okay,
ahead.
so number one is you're procrastinating. You want to join that site, you want to write that online profile, go do it.
Okay.
Write that profile, put it out there. Second one, if you have a profile already, but you've still been kind of like, sitting back, let's see what happens. No, don't wait for anybody to come to you. Reach out to them.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
You were
Seriously,
gonna say what I was gonna say.
we were there on that moment, but go ahead.
I actually reached out to Joe first, and he'll tell you that because they send you suggested people who you would like, who you might like. I popped up on his, but he was too busy with some other women.
I was dating too many.
Many people.
Yeah, well, you broke through the clutter.
He didn't acknowledge me, right? So, but when he popped up on mine, I'm like, oh, this sounds good. I reached out to him. And had I not done
Right.
that,
Right. Because
knows?
she reached
Okay.
out
Yeah.
to me, I said, you know what? I want to acknowledge her
Yeah.
and reply back.
All right, so dare number 1 is for those of you who have been thinking about online dating, you haven't done anything yet, you're going to choose your app and you're going to create a profile. Dare number 2, for those of you that have the profile but have been sitting there wishing, waiting, and praying to the universe that somebody reaches out to you, we're daring you to take action and reach out to at least one person. And dare number 3 is...
okay, so if you've been online and you have a profile and nothing's really happening, look at it again. Look at that profile. Maybe rewrite it and think about you, like being authentically you, what we've talked about.
Yep.
Write it through the eyes of you and not what you think somebody else might want to hear.
Yeah. Use the resource and go back
Yes.
and redo it.
Absolutely.
And you should see a big difference.
I love it. This was such an important conversation. There's a lot of single women in midlife and men. Our audience just happens to be predominantly women. And you're going to help a lot of people. Again, everybody, the purpose of Beyond Empty Nest is to support you in all areas of life, to inspire you and motivate you to take action in your life so that you can truly experience that inner sense of peace and well-being that my happy mentor calls being happy for no reason. So what was your takeaway from this conversation with Joe and Nat today? What was your biggest aha takeaway, especially for my single women in midlife out there, my single moms? What was it? Let us know. If this was powerful, if you let us know, leave a review, share it with a single woman in your life that you care about enough to share this with her. Grab the resource, follow Joe and Nat everywhere. They will be back. And as I always say, they're on. Thank you for listening to this episode of Beyond Empty Nest. Head over to jodysilverman.com for our full show notes, more information, and additional resources to support you through empty nest and midlife. And if you've enjoyed today's show and are ready to embrace this midlife chapter, then you must take the Happy for No Reason quiz. When you take the quiz, you'll discover what your happiness set point is and how you can increase it and continue to strengthen it. This is just one key to navigating life transitions and discovering your most fulfilled and daring life. So go ahead, click the link below and take the quiz now. I'll see you next Thursday. Dare on.